Right, let's have a go at some suspension. So this is my front right suspension unit. Taking off the drum. And that looks quite good, considering everything else is knackered. I've not cleaned this up at all, and that's fairly flat and shiny. There's no lip there, so that's good to be cleaned up and used again. And if anybody wants to correct me on any of this, please do so. So I've already taken, this is the bottom shaft that's supporting the wishbones. I've cleaned that up and got these off, and of course these were a joy to get off. These go on here, and I would suggest, if you've got both sides off, keep labels on everything, because it gets very confusing which bit is off which side. And comments, should you replace these with poly bushes or rubber bushes? I always favour original stuff. You know, if it's designed for rubber, keep it rubber, but poly bushes are pretty much the same price as rubber, so should I upgrade to those? So inside the brake drum, we've got this weird rubber melt here again. Yeah, that one's okay. And those aren't 60 years old, so with a bit of luck those are cleaned up and new seals. The linings are good to go again, there's plenty on there. But what I've got to do back here, put the label on again, there we are. And they've been quite generous with the grease gun, and that's kept everything really nice here. So I've got to replace this seal here, and this one at the bottom is even worse, and I believe that this back plate has to come off to do that. And playing these is, I can't feel anything, and it moves nice, but I really don't know how to check play in that. So get the shoes off, and I think to get the shoes off, looking at this circlip here, and what else I don't know, obviously these springs here. So I'll have a play with that and see where we end up. Right, that's that off. This one here, and I marked top, goes next to the top of the car. This one came off quite easily with this tool here. Against there, lift it, and you can lift it off the cylinder, and that releases the tension. So that one's off. And then this one, well, these are very manly springs here, you won't pull that. But this one came off here okay, and then tapped it upwards until it slid off the cylinder at the top, and that's loose now. So that's the those off. And that's marked as well, bottom of the car, just to give me an idea. And I've also marked where the springs go, this lovely green paint. And there's a circlip off the top. This cushion's quite nice to dismantle. It doesn't grate around the floor, so that's quite handy. So now I'm going to get these cylinders off, and all the nuts and bolts look quite fresh, which is nice. So this is the upper cylinder, so I'll need to take this this banjo off here and down the bottom here, and that one's got the bleed screw on, so get all that off, clean it up. Here's some observations. So I've got all the cylinders and pipes off the back plate, and this is how the bits go together. I've probably got this in the wrong orientation, but this will be your bottom cylinder with the bleed screw there, and these are cranked, these come off at different angles here, but that straight up the back plate, this one kicks off to give you clearance to get to this pipe. And again we've got a straight connector, and then this one for the flexi kicks off at an angle. So I've cleaned everything up, ultrasonicked it, blown it through another airline, and still debating on what to do with these. I might try honing, just the tools are dead cheap, so it might be quite interesting to see what it does. The flexi pipe, that went in there, but keep that because you often don't get the nut with the new flexi. But this is what's inside the cylinder. Well, this bit's outside, that's just the cap. Then we've got the cylinder, which is just free, no rubber on that, just moves up and down, quite a sloppy fit. And then we've got this seal, which goes that way with that cup pushed against, so we've got the flat piece up against the piston, and then we've got the spring which fit this other cup with a spring on it, which fits up inside there and pushes on that, and that all just drops into there. So quite straightforward. If you get mixed up, this might help you as well. Just take that out. I'm going to have to replace that because it's just okay on the seal, but then it starts to get corroded. So I'll replace that. And you can see, if you look down the bore there, the shape at the base will obviously accommodate that. And then on this one, you've got a cone going the opposite way, and it does the same inside there, so that will help you if you get mixed up. I cleaned up the one side of the back plate. I'll show you these springs. They seem to be the same, although they have different ends. So I didn't notice this at the time, but it's got to be the big end onto that pin there. Now I've got to get the back plate off because I need to change these rubber seals here, and presumably it's these 4 bolts here, but to get to those I've got to take off this hub and the bearing, and that's obviously been off before there. Look at the shape of that pin. That's not a Jaguar installed pin, is it? So next job. Front hub's off, so take the pin out, undo the nut, and I could virtually undo that with my fingers. D-section nut, and that's been filed somehow there, hasn't it? I wonder why that was. And then you see the bearing, and the bearing is pretty perfect. I'm happy with that. That's all right. Feels nice, no scores, runs nice. And all these two come out when you pull off the hub. So they're all inside the hub as you pull it out. And as you pull it off, what you can probably see is that arrangement. And it says, in the book, remove the inner bearing. Well, from the other end, I just use the wooden handle of a hammer, and that'll just knock out. And what we've got here is, well, this was actually still stuck on the shaft. This is a felt washer, and that's a retainer for the felt washer, and the inner bearing, which again looks good. It's all been cleaned up, and those bearing faces, that looks good. Hard to see the inner one, but from what I can see, that looks all right. And so that's all good to get cleaned up and go back on.